Good morning, girls. Today we discuss about the interest and net interest. Interest is divided into gross interest and net interest. Net interest is the earning of capital simply or the reward for waiting simply. Gross interest is net interest plus some other or additional elements as well. Important additional elements are: first, payment for risk. All loans are not equally risky or equally riskless. There is a need for making some allowances for insurance against risk. Part of the interest charged on a loan is a payment for risk and the risk that the loan may not be repaid. Second, payment for the trouble involved when the goods are sold on the hire purchase system. A charge is also made for the inconvenience which this type of sale causes to the seller. So, a great part of what appears to the borrowers as interest is, from the point of view of the lender, earning of management of a troublesome business. Lending money causes the lender a certain amount of work, such as keeping a record of the transaction and arranging for the collection of interest. Thus, part of interest is a charge for the lender's trouble. And third, payment for inconvenience. In the gross interest, there is also an element for the payment of inconvenience resulting from the failure on the part of the borrowers to pay interest and return the principal in time. Inconvenience results from the fact that lender may not get back the loan at a time when the needs it most, or may get back at the time when the market is depressed and none is prepared to borrow the money. And fourth is pure or net interest. Any charge additional to payment for risk, for trouble, and for inconvenience involved in the making the loan is for the use of money. It is a compensation to the lender for allowing the borrowers the use of his money for a period, and this is a pure or net interest. Thus, gross interest is equal to pure interest plus payment for risk plus payment for trouble and plus payment for inconvenience. And the next is the real interest and money interest. In practice, people almost always deal in terms of money rates of interest. Suppose a bank pay 10% interest, and it means that if a person deposits a rupees 1000 in the bank, he can withdraw rupees 1100 at the end of the year. But if the prices are rising, rupees 1100 after a year will not buy as much as rupees 1000 at the beginning of the year. Maybe it will buy at the end of the year only as much as rupees 1050 at the beginning of the year. And if so, the monetary or nominal rate of interest is 10%, but the rate of interest is 5%. Thus, rate of real interest is equal to money rate of interest minus inflation rate, or money rate of interest is equal to real rate of interest plus inflation rate. The second equation states that the money rate of interest equals the real rate of interest plus the anticipated rate of price inflation, or the real interest rate equals the money rate of interest minus the anticipated rate of price inflation. If R is equal to rate of real interest, small r rate of money interest, and P is rate of price inflation. So R is equal to R minus P, or R is equal to R plus P. Now, okay, guys.